Professor Nigel Dunnett is the RHS Ambassador for the Greening Grey Britain campaign, and I'm here today at RHS Garden Harlow Carr in Yorkshire to talk to him about his passion for plants, gardens and greening up the urban environment. So Nigel, we're here in the garden. Tell us, how are you working with the RHS?
Yeah, well, I was invited to produce a new master plan for Harlow Carr, which is really taking the best of what's here already, making the most of that, but putting lots of new fantastic features in. I mean, it's such a great site, but there's so much packed into it. So we want to really make the most of that, but also bring a lot more into the gardens, which will provide inspiration, but a lot of practical know-how and ideas that people can take away with them.
The woodland is one of the key areas of this garden. What are your thoughts about it?
Well, it's a key area, but it's also a huge area. It probably takes up about a third of all the garden space. That is one of the most exciting areas to me here at Harlow Carr.
Away from this garden, but in streets and towns and cities all over the country, trees play a vital role.
Well, of course. I mean, they are the essential for the future with climate change. They do so many things: shade, cooling, wildlife habitat, soaking up rainwater, all those things.
Do you think many of our local councillors or politicians or decision makers have actually forgotten about the true value of street trees particularly?
Well, trees are the most important thing we can think about. Of course, all plants and all greening will have some benefit, but really trees will have the greatest benefit just because of their size.
And so if there's one sort of call out that you would like to say to people, you know, it is to consider trees, whether it's in their garden or in their street, or just to be aware of them.
Even in the smallest of spaces that you can use a tree, because there will be an appropriate tree for each situation. We need to think about the urban environment as a place to establish a new forest canopy, if you like.
Nigel, where did it all begin? Where did your interest in trees, wildlife, plants start?
Well, and gardens. I've been one of these very precocious people who has been interested in plants ever since they were 4 or 5 years old. When I was a teenager, I was pretty well in the world of gardening. And I think really, I suppose what I've been doing ever since that childhood, teenage experience is trying to bring the two things together, of that experience of nature and understanding natural systems and how they work and all the benefits they bring, and how we can bring that into gardens and into a design landscape, but in a way that is beautiful and still captures that feeling that I had as a child.
How did you challenge that and make that into a career?
So I studied botany and plant science and then developed an academic career really. I worked for a while, for about 10 years actually, doing garden design and construction, garden build, and had that experience, but I felt I really wanted to be more academic and be more research-based, particularly in the world of horticulture, where so much is about practical experience. To have the academic and the scientific backing to that, I think is really important.
How do you feel that we are in the UK over the last 10, 20 years? Are we becoming more environmentally aware or more sensitive to that?
So often, these ecological ideas are all about the ecology and about the science and the wildlife. It's also about people in cities. It has to work for people and look great. And so one of the most exciting things that we've ever done is the Olympic Park in London, where we had the chance almost to have a playground, if you like, to apply ideas on a large scale. And so we were able to have a big influence on the type of plantings that were done. It was very natural, with meadows and wetlands and woodlands everywhere, as well as lawns. But we took the approach that it had to be a visual spectacle. We've had so much response, people contacting us afterwards saying, we want to have this where we live. And really, in the end, that's what we want to achieve. We want people to want this sort of thing.
One of the big challenges many people are talking about is that of a changing climate. How do you feel we're faring as a nation in terms of dealing with a changing climate?
We need to really realise the serious implications of what we face and think about ways that we can adapt to that. From my point of view, one of the main ways that we can do that is through the greater use of plants and vegetation and soils wherever we live.
And that link to gardens is particularly pertinent for you at the moment because you're working with the RHS as an ambassador for the Greening Grey Britain campaign. Can you just explain a bit about that and what you hope to achieve?
I've worked a lot in city environments, and I think the ambassador role is an incredible opportunity to champion the whole idea of the essential nature of what we have to do to green up our cities, our environments, and make a change, make a difference. I think the real challenge is to bring all this down to the level of the individual, not just individuals but communities as well. As well as thinking big scale, we think small scale.
Well, what an exciting agenda. Nigel, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nigel's passion for plants, horticulture and the environment is clear to see. And working with the RHS and the other ambassadors, he hopes that we can inspire people to get outside and get planting.